Hey guys, it's Comicbookjunkie here again. This time I'm bringing you my part 2 of my X-Men collection. The books I'm going to focus on today are all my actual graded X-Men comics. The only one I'm not going to show here is my first appearance of the Juggernaut. You can check that one out in my villains video. I'm just being kind of lazy, I guess. I have it in my display case, and it's surrounded by little figures and things like that, so it's kind of a pain to get back out again, and I just put it back, so I'm going to pull it out again, but... So here's X-Men number 10. It's the first Silver Age appearance of Kazar. It's 7.0. There's X-Men number 13, second appearance of the Juggernaut. It's graded 8.0. Just a big fan of the Juggernaut. Here's the first appearance of the Mimic. It's X-Men number 19. Minor appearance, in my opinion. I don't think he's that big of a character. It's not to me. 7.5 grade. Here's X-Men number 26. 7.5. Now, a lot of these that I got, like that one there in particular, I got in a graded format because it was cheaper to get the graded book than it was to get it 7.0 or so individually. It's amazing how some of these books that aren't necessarily keys on some of them, you can get really cheap in a graded format on eBay if you watch how they go. So here's number 28, 7.0. This is the first appearance of the Banshee. Number 31. Graded 8.0. First appearance of the Cobalt Man. We have number 35. I'm a big fan of this one. My wife actually got this for me for Christmas a couple years ago. It's first appearance of the Changeling, but it's also got Spider-Man in it. It's the first time they was in with X-Men. Here's X-Men number 38, graded 7.5. I love this cover. This is X-Men number 49. First appearance of Polaris. And it's just that this one is actually signed by Jim Steranko. And I really like a lot of Jim Steranko covers. They're pretty neat. Here's number 66. I showed you a regular copy of that the other day, but here's one that's actually graded in 7.5. Big fan of this cover because it's got the Hulk on it. Okay, now here's one of my... that's probably my favorite one that's graded. It's number 94, 9.2 grade. It's the second appearance in Nightwing, Nightcrawler, Storm, and Thunderbird and Colossus, and it's early appearance of Wolverine, but it's the first time that they were actually in the regular X-Men book besides the giant size annual. And then here's another one that I love. It's X-Men number 40. I'm a big fan of horror stuff and monsters, and Frankenstein being in this is just it's a really neat cover. Graded 7.5. Here's Uncanny X-Men number 193. It's first appearance of the Hellions, first appearance of Warpath in costume. I think Warpath's a pretty cool character. I know I got this thing really cheap. That's 9.8. Here's X-Men number 201. Its first appearance of Cable as Baby Nathan. Graded 9.8. I got this really cheap. I saw they're going for quite a bit on eBay right now with all the Cable stuff going around. Rumors of the movies and stuff, which are not really rumors, but look like it'll be the next Deadpool. Here's Uncanny X-Men 221. It's the first appearance of Mr. Sinister. This one's graded 9.8. I picked up several copies of these. This is the only graded one I have, but I have 4 or 5 of this. One, I just love the cover, and I always thought Mr. Sinister was really cool. I mean, all the individual copies I had, the most I paid for one of them was $10, so I got those all really cheap. And this one I got pretty cheap too, at 9.8, and it's going for a decent amount. So here's my second favorite graded X-Men book. This is the first appearance of Gambit, Uncanny X-Men number 266. It's graded only a 9.4, but still a pretty high grade book. It's signed by Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, Andy Kubert, and Stan Lee. So it's a pretty neat book I have. Now I do have, those are all my graded ones besides the first appearance of the Juggernaut that's the actual X-Men titles. I do have other key characters that, were part of the X-Men, or related to the X-Men, but I haven't showed those yet. Like I had the first appearance of Archangel, who's one of my favorite. I have a 9.8 graded first appearance of Cable, which I believe is signed by Rob Liefeld. So I have a few others, but this is the bulk of my graded ones. So next I'll start showing you some more of my runs of what I have of the X-Men in my third video. But I thought I'd knock the graded ones out first because it's pretty easy to just pull those out of my box. I kind of have them all in order, so pretty simple. I do have a regular Uncanny X-Men 266 as well, but I also picked up a graded one. I always really loved Gambit, mainly from the cartoon. I mean, he was so neat on the Uncanny X-Men cartoon. And, when it comes to investing, that's one thing that I want to point out to people that I don't think some people follow. They follow the hype on some things, but a lot of times when you want to be investing in comics, you want to be investing in stuff that other people aren't. When you're chasing the hot book, you're probably paying a higher price for it, and you need to be chasing the books that no one's talking about. And one of the main ways that I've ever been successful in investing in comics, but I say investing, but I don't want to, every time I sell a comic that I make money on, I pretty much put that right back into my comic collection. When it comes to, like I said, I used to be a big Magic the Gathering player. I still play with my friends occasionally, but I sell a lot of those cards. A lot of those I've sold for pure profit. I mean, our basement has a LED TV and surround sound system that was all paid for by Magic the Gathering cards. And like I said, the money that I just got from this last check of cards I sold all went into my comic collection. So I never take anything that I'm collecting or hobbies that I turn around and sell. I always put right back into whatever I'm collecting. But, for instance, I have a couple copies of the first appearance of Gambit, a couple copies of Mr. Sinister, Taskmaster, and I got all those type of books cheap that are worth a lot more now. And my main key to investing in those was simply that the character was cool. I mean, like for instance, Deadpool. It's just a cool character. And if you read the comics, you can kind of point at those characters that are just really neat. Like I think Kang the Conqueror is one that I think is still undervalued in the X-Men universe. Not X-Men universe, I mean Avengers universe. But they're books that have someone that's just a cool character that a lot of people like, or a character that is in like a TV show now. That's I think Harley Quinn became big because of the Batman cartoon, and then got into the books as well. But all the people that grew up when I was a kid watching that all really like Harley Quinn. Same with a lot of the X-Men from watching the cartoon. And I think most of the generation today, it's all Teen Titans. I mean, you'd be amazed at how that one cartoon is probably on. How many hours it's on straight for on like the Cartoon Network. And my kids and all my kids' friends, I mean, they live and breathe the Teen Titans. And, so Cyborg, Starfire, the Young Justice show was really popular. So even characters like Miss Martian and Kid Flash is a valuable one, Aqualad's a valuable one. But a lot of the characters from there, like, Darkfire and some of the other villains from there are really cheap. I mean, you can pick up the first appearance of Terra for like $3. So characters that are really popular now with kids will be in high demand, in my opinion, 15 years from now, if you're wanting to invest for that long period of time. So, all right, well, that's all I got to say right now. I will show you more of these in the future. I'll talk to you guys later.